In this video, we're breaking down FITXFEARLESS's guide to texting. We're taking a look at his 7 rules for texting girls and see if they're spot on. I'm bit sick, so bear with me, but let's see what he has to say.
Number 1, the setup. I like to set things up to give myself maximum results. I don't believe in guessing. I don't believe in hoping. I don't believe in throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. I like to have a proven formula that works.
Proven formula that works sounds pretty base so far.
Proven formula that has worked for me and has worked for countless of dudes is the setup. What the fuck does that mean? You need to not get a girl's number until she agrees to a date. So there's going to be no exchanging of contacts until she's agreed to date. Doesn't matter if I met her in person, doesn't matter if I met her at the grocery store, doesn't matter if I met her dating apps, Instagram, wherever you meet the girl.
Okay, so I generally do this too. I try to soft close girls before actually getting their phone number, but there are some key exceptions to this, so let's see if he mentions them.
You do not get her number until she agrees to a date. Why is this so important for FITXFEARLESS? This is how you weed out all the girls who are going to give you their number and waste your damn time. Guys, numbers mean nothing. How many numbers have you gotten that got nowhere? See, us guys, we're logical, right? We think, oh, well, she give me her number. That means she likes me, right? Because I wouldn't give my number to a girl I don't like. Women will give you their number to get you out of their face. They will give you their number to get some free attention from you. Have no intentions of ever meeting you. Have no intentions of ever going out with you. Women are passive aggressive. A lot of the times they are not gonna.
Did he say women are passive aggressive because they don't want to go out with you? But I think I see what he's trying to get at, that the number is more likely to be solid if she agrees to go on a date with you. However, I don't think this is nearly as effective as he's making it out to be. Quite often you will get a girl to agree to go on a date with you, get her number, and she'll still flake. I think this might make like a 15-20% difference, whereas I think he thinks it's gonna make like a 50 to 70% difference.
They're gonna just say no. They're gonna just say, oh, okay, here's my number. They're gonna give you the number, and then when you text her, she never responds. She'll give you the wrong number. She'll tell you, yeah, definitely, yeah, let's exchange numbers, and then boom, you try to set the date over phone, and now you like, what happened? I thought you gave me your number. You want to go out? Nope. She started giving you excuses after excuses after excuses. This is because she was never interested. So the setup is to only get women's numbers who have agreed to the date. This does not mean that now this is guaranteed she's gonna go out with you. This means that you're now gonna weed out the girls who were never planning on ever doing anything with you to begin with. If you meet her in person, if you meet her on dating apps, wherever you meet her, you're gonna say, hey, we should do this another time. We should go bowling some other time. We should go shoot pool some other time. We should go do this some other time. Okay, great, that sounds good. That's when you exchange numbers.
Okay, so the general idea here is not bad. I think it will make a 10 to 20% difference in terms of optimizing your overall results. However, there's some key exceptions to this. So number 1, for example, if you're talking to a girl on Tinder and she takes forever to check the app and she's like, hey, I just don't check this often. At that point, if you try to soft close her on the app, you might not hear from her. At that point, the best thing to do is to actually move her off the app. In fact, there's a really good argument that can be made for why it's better to just like literally, if you're meeting a girl on a dating app, to literally move her off the app within the first 3 messages, because quite often girls just stop responding on apps and they're much more likely to engage in person, right? So there's a good argument to be made for that. Number 2, if you're out and about, right, and the girl's in a rush, or let's say you're with a group of people who's moving this way, the girls with a group of people moving that way, right? At that point, you don't have time to soft close. I've had quite a few situations where I was like really in a rush. I got the girl's number super quickly and still led to a date. So I think whether you soft close beforehand or not, it's not going to play a significant role in your likelihood to get a date, but overall, it's generally a good move. Let's take a look at rule number 2.
Number 2, no emojis or acronyms. Guys, stop with the LOLs. LOL, LOL, LOL. Man, I was reviewing an audit. I was reviewing a guy's message and he had LOL after every word. Like, what do you talk? You talk like, you don't even talk like this. You're diminishing your words. You look like a little girl, bro. You're a grown man. I can't take any grown man seriously that talks in LOLs and ha.
I need to email FITXFEARLESS and be like, hey, LOL, we should come on my channel. LOL, it'd be so cool. LOL, we can pick up girls together. Ha ha ha. Smiley face emoji.
Ha ha. And LMAO. Are you a teenage boy? Are you a teenage girl? Are you a grown man? Why can't you speak clearly, say what you have to say without saying LOL and ha ha ha, without using acronyms? You're an adult male, act like it. Don't succumb to what society's doing. Don't succumb to what these simps are doing. Act like a damn man.
So I think this has a lot less to do with succumbing to what society's saying, and more of guys are just worried about, I guess, rubbing the girl the wrong way. Guys are really worried about offending the girl, right? And LOLs and ha-has, they soften the message. And I think once in a while it is good to do that. For example, when I'm teasing the girl in real life, I can be pretty, savage, right? Because she can see by my body language and facial expression that I'm just fucking around. Versus, for example, if I'm texting her, she has no idea of knowing that I'm fucking around. So that's where an LOL and emoji can come in to be good. But generally speaking, I like to avoid using LOLs, emojis, and all that shit. GIFs even, all that stuff can definitely make your texting seem a bit feminine.
To be the guy that would do LOLs and all this nonsense, I would never do that shit again. Because I realized, man, this shit diminishes my words. I just come across, how can you be taken seriously with anything you say if there's an LOL behind it, if there's a ha 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 behind it, if there's an LMAO behind it? It seems like you're trying to soften your message so you can be better accepted. That's what it is. You soften everything you say because you're so scared you don't want people to look at it the wrong way. I don't give a damn how you look at how I'm texting you.
Okay, so this rule is generally pretty good. LOL. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Number 3, don't play her game. Guys, when women are not interested in you, what do? They take 4 hours to respond, a day to respond, 3 days to respond. Don't play her game. The moment you notice a girl is taking an excessive amount of time to respond, block her. Here's why. She has shown you her interest clear as day. This girl takes 20 hours to respond, a day to respond. She has shown you how she feels about you.
Or she's probably busy with her life. That's the more likely explanation. I know for me personally, sometimes even when I'm trying to pick up girls, I'll take a day or two to respond. Sometimes I'll fucking won't respond for a few days because I'm just busy as fuck. I'll do the same thing with friends. I'll do the same thing with business type of stuff. Just sometimes people who have busy lives get busy and they forget to respond to shit, right? So no, I think that this is really good advice if you want to screen out 90% of your potential dating prospects. Another fun thing that he's not mentioning here is I find that the hottest girls I've hooked up with, especially from dating apps, were girls who didn't make it super easy for me. Were girls where I sometimes had to wait a little bit. I had to be more persistent because those are the girls who have the most guys hitting them up. Doesn't mean they're fucking all those guys, right? They probably have the same body count as, you know, a 9 can have the same body count as a 7, but there's more guys hitting on her and you have to be a little bit more persistent and a little bit more patient to get the girl who's a 9 compared to the 7.
She doesn't. She has shown you how much she cares about you. She doesn't. She doesn't care. Okay, so now what's gonna happen? 1, you keep being a simp and play this game with her where you're taking 20 hours to respond. Well, guess what? She don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, they always go to these extremes, but there's nothing simpy about not responding to a girl for 20 hours.
You can take as long as you want to respond. She has no interest in you anyways. So you can take as long as you want to respond. You can take 3 years to fucking respond. She never liked you. She never will. It ain't gonna raise fucking shit. I keep telling y'all, stop trying to raise interest and worry about raising yourself. I ain't raising the goddamn interest. I'm improving my...
So this is like really vague advice is popular in the red pill. Like, oh, don't worry about making the woman attracted to you become more attractive. But they never really give you specifics for what that means. I mean, granted, some of it's pretty obvious, like you know, like for example, getting better shape and fashion. But once you do that, what else is really left to work on yourself? I mean, sure, you can do all the reading, all the meditation, work on your business all you want. That's not going to really help you get girls, at least not girls who are not gold diggers, right? So what does that really mean? It really means nothing. It's just a vague talking point, right? You can't actually raise interest over text. Now look, you're not going to take a girl who's not in shit at all and finds you gruesome to get her very attractive over text, but you can take a girl who's lukewarm, who's like, yeah, this guy's okay, and actually get her to a point where she's like, hey, this guy seems pretty cool. I'm gonna go on a date with him, right? I've done that many times over text, and you can too, through a good text game, right? But if you go into this with defeatist mindset of like, oh, she doesn't like me right away, therefore she's not gonna like me, then yeah, you're not really gonna accomplish much.
Self as a man, and I'm only dealing with girls that want to deal with me. I ain't raising an ounce of fucking interest. If you don't like me, kick rocks. So either you're gonna keep being a simp, play this game with her, text back.
So essentially what he's getting at, he's only dealing with hot leads, which are well and good. Hot leads are the most DTF girls, but they're typically not the most attractive girls. And you're leaving out, again, 70, 80, 90% of the girls on the table because the girls who are warm or lukewarm about you are typically tend to be the girls who have the best lives, who have a lot of shit going on, who are the most attractive, who are probably the most relationship worthy, right? But just because she's not instant responding to you, because, especially to a guy that she's never met, you know, because you just started messaging her on a dating app, does not mean she's not interested.
And I've actually advised guys to do this shit in the past. Forgive me if I ever told you to do this stupid ass shit. It's dumb. Don't you ever do it. Don't you ever play this game where you texting the girl 20 hours back, 4 hours back. Oh, she took 4 hours, I'm gonna take 8 hours. She said, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna block you. Peace of mind, baby. That's the first thing that can happen. The second thing that can happen is let's say you stop responding, but you don't leave her blocked. What's gonna happen? She's gonna come back and waste your time in the future, and you're gonna be frustrated. She's never gonna act right. What these kind of girls do, guys, they'll see that you're not really pursuing them like that. They'll come back in the future and test the waters. She still wants to see if you boo-boo the fool. Yeah, a lot of the times when these girls come back, it ain't because they want to smash all of a sudden. They want to see how stupid you still are. She came back to wait.
Jesus Christ, where the fuck did they even come up with this stuff? So a girl who wasn't responding, if she came back and hit you up a few days later, she's most likely trying to make a fool out of you. I guess it's possible once in a while, but most likely she just forgot to respond, or maybe she was busy, or maybe she had shit going on, or maybe she was traveling, or maybe she was sick. There's so many explanations that are much more probable than the fact that she's trying to make a fool out of you while she responded a few days later. But again, this is just, yeah, it's kind of a silly mindset.
Waste your fucking time. I don't let women in my life that don't want to be in my life stay in my life. You show me low interest, I block you.
He seems so excited about blocking girls, like, I block you. I mean, I guess if your goal is to block as many girls as possible, and this is pretty good advice. All right, let's move on to the next point.
Number 4.
Stop trying so hard to be witty. Another thing I'm seeing with guys when I'm doing these audits is that guys, you're trying to make an impression through text. You're trying to sound smart. You're making these slick jokes. And some of these girls, their IQs are room temperature level. They don't understand what you mean. So please cut it out. There's no need to try to seem witty with room temperature IQ. Just straightforward, bro. Don't be trying to be witty and make slick remarks. Quit that. It actually comes across like you're trying too hard. The more witty and funny.
So there's kind of a point that he has here. Like, yes, if you're trying really hard, it will look like you're trying too hard, right? But if you're someone who's generally funny and witty, then it's not gonna look too hard. So for example, when I'm on a date with a girl, right, I'm pretty funny and I'm pretty witty, or at least so I like to think so, right? I'm gonna be the same exact way over text. Now this begs the question, what do you do if you're not someone who's funny or witty, right? Well, I think in that point, you wanna lean into it a little bit. So let's say you're like 0% witty, right? You wanna try being maybe 20% witty. That still will be fairly congruent. What you don't wanna do is try to impress the girl, that is true, but there's nothing wrong with being funny or witty. Like when I'm texting my friends or fucking around with my friends, like I'll say funny, witty shit, right? That's kind of how communication goes. You don't want to be super boring because again, that will screen out most girls because a lot of girls don't want to go on a date with a boring guy, especially the more attractive ones. I can't tell you how many girls I was able to get a date with just because they thought I was funny. They're like, yo, you seem really interesting. You were funny, so fuck it, I decided to meet up with you.
You're trying to be in a slick way. She thinks that you're trying to impress her. Like I said, we don't impress anything over here. If you're listening to FitX Fearless, my goal is not to maximize the amount of sex you get, the amount of lays you get, none of that shit. My goal is to maximize you as a man.
What does that even mean?
Your entire life. And women is just a part of it. I want my guys to be attracting high quality, feminine, cooperative women. So we're focused.
Do you guys catch the contradiction here? Earlier on, he said that, oh, you know, a lot of these girls are too dumb to understand that you're being witty. But at the same time, he says, my goal is to help you attract high quality girls. So if your goal is to attract high quality girls, assuming that means that she's not super stupid, then why would you care about screwing her out by being witty? That's a nice little contradiction there. But yeah, overall, disagree with this point. Let's see the next one.
Number 5, you're then gonna offer 2 dates of when you're available. So you've gotten a number because she agreed to a date. You're not trying to be witty. You're not using emojis. You're not playing her game. She's texting back relatively, fair. She ain't taking hours to respond to every message. This doesn't mean she got.
Also, just want to quickly point out what the top comment here is. Directly ask her out in the first 5 texts or get used like 99% of men. Like these extremes are so weird to me. Like either your choice is either ask her out in the first 5 texts or you're gonna get used. Like really, these are the only 2 options?
Respond every second, but she ain't taking that long to respond either. You're now going to offer her 2 dates. Why is this important? Like I told you, this is a guide. Follow this fucking guide. Why this is important is you're now going to gauge her interest even more. And you're not going to put it like you're thirsty to see her. You're telling her your availability. Hey, I'm free Thursday or Monday. Which one of those days work for you for our date? It's exactly how you say it, bro. Just like that. Hey, I'm free this day or this day. Which one of those days work for you for our date? She gives you any, oh, those days don't work for me. Without a follow-up, don't stop responding. And you will notice as well, another key indicator of low interest is if she picks the further date. Let's say it's Monday and I say, hey, I'm free this coming Thursday or the following Monday. My schedule is like that for real. And you shouldn't be available 2 days in a row. The days you offer women should be spaced out by at least 2 days. So when I give
okay, some of this is semi-true and some of this is just silly. You can't offer her 2 dates in a row. Like what if you're free Thursday and Friday? Just say, hey, you free Thursday or Friday. You don't have to like pretend like, oh shit, you free Thursday or Sunday? There's no need to do that. Second of all, there's a much easier way to do this. This is how I set up dates. First, I'll soft close. I'll say something like, we should grab a drink sometime soon, or we should have a glass of wine on a romantic balcony sometime soon while my husky overlooks, something along the lines of that. When she says yes, then I'll say, cool, what's your schedule like? That's it. That's all you have to do. Just ask her for her schedule. And if she picks a date that's like the following day, then she's probably gonna be more interested than if she picks a day that's like 2 weeks out. But still, even if it's a week out, and I've had a lot of dates with girls like that, all you have to do is just follow up the day beforehand and confirm the day of, and you're gonna be okay, probably more often than not anyway.
For girl, 2 days that I'm available, I'm paying attention to which day she's picking. Why? Because the higher her interest, the faster she wants to see me. This doesn't mean that every single girl is gonna be available that first day I offer, but the highest interest ones tend to make it work. They don't wanna wait that long to see me. They don't wanna wait 4 or 5 days. They wanna see me as quick as possible. When a woman picks the further date that you give her out of the 2, expect her to flake. This is what's gonna happen when you give her those 2 dates. Either she's the kind of girl you wanna deal with, she's high interest, she's not here to play games, she's probably gonna pick one of those 2 dates, preferably the one that's closer. You know, okay, she's actually fucking with me. If she tells you, oh, can I get back to you? Don't stop responding. If she tells you, oh, those 2 days don't work for me, next week is kind of busy, can I talk to you next year? Stop responding. If she doesn't give you a date when she's available, when you offer her 2 dates, she's not interested, leave her alone. And if she picks
So I think this is generally relatively true, but again, it's not always these extremes. Like if a girl doesn't offer to set up a return date, whatever, when you text her, then she's not interested at all. Sometimes girls get busy. Sometimes girls don't know their schedule. Sometimes girls are traveling. Sometimes girls have shit going on. They're the same as us. They get busy from time to time, right? So again, don't overthink this stuff. There's nothing wrong with following up a few times. Now look, if there's a pattern of you following up with this girl several times and she always says, I'll get back to you, yeah, at that point, you're probably wasting your time.
Number 6, don't use filler text. Now that you've offered her 2 dates and she's picked a date, preferably the one closer, right? There's no need for you to keep chit-chatting about nothing. There's no need for you to use filler text. You don't want to talk to the girl about nothing. You don't want to be chit-chatting about nothing. A lot of girls will try to do this. You tell her, okay, she picks the date, and then you're like, okay, cool. And then when she'll be like, oh, okay, so tell me what you up to today or some shit. I want you to use this line right here. Whenever you set the date and the woman wants to still chit chat about nothing.
So there's 2 reasons why girls do that. Number 1 could be that she's chit chatting about nothing, but quite often they just want to build more comfort, right? They're meeting a stranger. Girls have a massive safety element. Also, there's probably a lot of guys that are hitting on them, right? So she wants to make sure you're not crazy, you're not a weirdo, you're not socially awkward. So she's trying to establish more comfort, right? And if you just don't engage with her, like you set up the date and you're just like ghost mode until the day of the date, right? She might have second thoughts and cancel on you. So again, I agree with the general premise that you shouldn't be just going back and forth all the time with a girl you set up a date with. But I think you should engage a bit because again, that's gonna make it seem that you're actually serious about meeting her. You're not just basically setting a date and forgetting. And also it's gonna make her seem that you're a safer guy, you're a guy that she feels more comfortable with. So the underlying premise is true, but once again, it takes it too far to one extreme.
Hey, I don't want us to ruin the mystery. When we see each other in person, we can talk as much as we want. I'm not gonna be one of those dudes that's gonna be texting you all day about nothing. I'm not gonna ruin the mystery.
Okay, so that text is actually not bad, but sometimes girls would be like, okay, but first I wanna get to know something about you. If that's the case, so you have to be able to discern between meaningless chit chat text, like, how's your day? And like actual important messages for you to respond. So what do you do for work? So what are you looking for on here? So have you done this a lot? So have you had any bad experience? Stuff like that are actually things that you need to respond to her by. Otherwise, she's gonna get cold feet. So you have to be able to make that distinction between pointless text and texts that have a point.
Which will make her bored of you before the date. The point of the date is to get to know each other. And lastly is don't give her the address of the date till the day of the date. So she's agreed to the date. You're not gonna fill a text. If she tries to chit chat, you're gonna tell her, hey baby, hey sweetheart. Don't use those words. I'm just giving you an example. Like, hey, let's not destroy the mystery over text. When we see each other in person, we're gonna get to know each other better. Say it just like that. Let's not destroy the mystery over text. When we get to know each other, we can get to know each other and talk as much as we want. You're not gonna tell her, I'm going to send you the address. Let's say she picks Tuesday. I'm gonna send you the address Tuesday morning. This way she can't be like, oh, you haven't talked to me in all week, so I didn't think that you were gonna blah, blah, blah. We ain't gonna fill a text. I'm not gonna be chit-chatting about nothing. The day of the date, I'm gonna send you the address. Women who are not full of games, women who are...
Yes, I don't think there's a need to send her the address like a week ahead of time, unless she asks like, hey, where are we going or something like that. In that case, it's fine. If she asks, just send her the address. You have to be like, I'll let you find out. We don't want to kill all the mystery of where the date is going to be. I'll let you find out as it gets closer, right? Just fucking send her the address. But if she doesn't ask for it, that's fine. You can send a day of. But I think he's talking here about confirming for the date. So don't confirm for the date by sending her the address. You know what you do? Just message her that day and start a conversation. Hey, how's your day going? She'd be like, oh, good. How about you? You say, good. Looking forward to seeing you later tonight. Still good for 8 p.m. Something along the lines of that, right? So first get her to respond to your message and then send a confirmation text. Once she says, yeah, I am, then send her the address. It's a much better way of doing it than just sending the address and being like, hopefully she shows up. Fingers crossed.
Legitimately interested in you. If you follow this 7-step guide, I guarantee you the quality of women that you're going to be going out with is going to be extremely high. You're going to be going out with girls who have real genuine interest in you. It's going to be way easier for you to sleep with them. Not because they're easier, but they like you. They want to spend time with you. They're not going to be pain in the ass. They're not going to be a pain in the ass. They're not going to be difficult to be around. You're going to enjoy going on dates with these girls. The date you should take on is not a dinner date. Don't take her to nothing you don't enjoy. Pick something that you like to do. I prefer something like bowling, shooting pool, something that I like to do.
I don't think bowling is a good date idea. Shooting pool is maybe slightly better. I think just having a drink, or lately what I've been doing is I've just been taking for girls for walks. I'll say if she doesn't feel comfortable coming straight over, I'll be like, oh, why don't we take my cute husky for a walk, and we'll go for a walk, and then I'll pull her upstairs, right? That's what I like to do. I mean, I don't really do coffee dates anymore, but either that or a drink is fine. But yeah, so aside from that, I think overall this is below average advice. There's some truisms here and some decent points, but even those, he kind of takes it too far to one extreme. And there's also some things in here that are just clearly wrong. The whole idea that you don't want to be witty or funny over text is just blatantly wrong. The whole idea that if a girl takes like 20 hours to respond, she's not interested, is also blatantly wrong most of the time. So overall, what would I do with this advice? Probably ignore most of it. All right, hope you guys found this video valuable. If you want to find out how good your texting skills are, take our free text game quiz. Link is going to be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.